Hi everyone, it's me, C Lefty Run, with my week 13 recap for the Boston Marathon 2024. So first of all, I just want to show you this jacket was from 96. Did I run in 96? No, I was barely graduating high school in 96. Not barely. I mean, high school is pretty easy to graduate from. But I was graduating from high school in 1996, and my uncle ran the 1996 Boston Marathon. He's ran 9 total. And so he gave me this jacket. This is the 100th anniversary jacket. And at the time, I believe they gave them with the registration. So you didn't have to buy it separately. Still Adidas or Adidas, right? Look at the inside. I mean, it's all lined. It's got this. This is more of like less of a windbreaker and more of like a regular jacket. So very interesting. So I thought I would wear this today because you've been hanging in with me for this whole 13 week cycle. Well, now it's 14, right? So I just want to go over with you some things as I head into Boston. They're just kind of on my mind. But first I'll go over week 13 with you. Week 13, I ran 47 miles. Let's just talk about the whole cycle. So for the whole cycle, I ran 702 miles roughly for the whole cycle. I peaked at 60 miles for the week. That was my peak. I did that twice, I think. And in March, I ran 255 miles. So that's a lot. It's a lot of running. Another perk is I got through my hip injury. If you remember, I kind of started with a really bad hip injury. It wasn't like casual. I mean, it took me out for almost 3 months. So I was kind of coming back from that when I started this cycle. And then I had that chest cold for like 2 weeks, right? And then this was the first week I ran and I felt pretty normal. So I'm just going to go over the highlights of the week instead of going over each run because I want to kind of focus on where my head's at for the race. So on Tuesday, and because I've been struggling with hitting my paces because of the chest cold, because of this, because of that, I'm guessing it was because of the chest cold, but I don't know. You know, you really don't know. You're like, did my fitness disappear or is it because I'm sick? I don't know. But I was like, I got to knock it out of the park this week. I got to build my confidence. And I've really got to make sure that I hit all of these runs this week. And that's what I did. So on Tuesday, I ran 10 miles. They were 5 1 mile repeats. So, and then a quarter mile recovery between each one. So yeah, what's my range? 756 to an 806. So I ran a 742, 738, 742, 746, 740. So I did like really well on that run. So I was very happy with that. And I didn't stop in between. Like I was able to do the quarter mile recovery. I didn't walk at all. That was my goal too. I'm like, I'm not walking between these reps. Like, come on, girl, you got to get through this. And then on Thursday, I had 6 miles at marathon pace, just in a row. So the total mileage was 10. So I did 806, 802, 804, 811, 809, 806. So my marathon pace is an 823. My range for this is, I did train because my goal is a sub 340. I trained for 335. Give myself a little buffer, you know? So my marathon pace is actually an 823. That's what my average pace needs to be to run a sub 340. So that was looking good. Did I want to stop after the 6? I did. After the 10, I was done, but I'm just glad I hit it. And then Saturday, I did my 12-mile run with my friends. And my average pace for that was an 8:51. And we included some hills in that, and it's conversational the whole time. So pretty happy with that too. So it was a really strong week 13. It's kind of what I needed mentally to prep for Boston on Monday. As you know, my A goal is a sub 340. That would give me a 10-minute cushion into next year. My B goal is to just requalify. That's under 350. My C goal is to have a course PR, which would be under 354. And D goal, of course, is just to finish. So those are my goals. So the positive things for this cycle were I got all my mileage in, never missed a day of running. even when I was sick, I made sure to handle the miles. I was like, what can you do? Was my question this cycle. Like, there's some things you can't do, but what can you do? Let's focus on what you can do. Okay, I can't hit my paces, but I can at least do the mileage. So that's what I did. So mentally breaking through that was a really good thing. The cycle just felt harder. And I don't know, in the past, I've used Luke Humphrey plan where they had 2 SOS workouts a week. So on Tuesday, I would do a similar workout to what I did in this plan. And then Saturday, every other Saturday, I would have marathon paced work built into my long run. So it's kind of like I was hitting those tempo efforts every other week and not every week. And then on the alternating Saturdays, it'd just be a long run at my long run pace. For this cycle, I was doing those two, the Tuesday run and then the Thursday run, always tempo mileage on Thursdays. So it was just a harder plan. So even though I'm feeling like not as strong for this cycle as I have felt in previous cycles, this was a much more intense plan. So maybe that's why I don't know. It felt harder. And I keep comparing how I feel in all marathon training cycles to how I felt when I trained for Big Bear and I ran that 3:27. And I was like, I'll be stoked if I get a sub 3:30, or if I get 3:30, I'd be stoked. I trained for 3:35. I ran at 3:27, but it's Big Bear and it's like downhill. So, but I remember that being a tough cycle. And I even switched plans like mid-cycle because we had a really warm and humid summer. And so then I switched plans and then the weather changed. It got nicer. And the last month prior going into Big Bear, when I ran the 3:27, paces were like just ticking off, easy to hit. And then I had a great race, right? So I keep comparing to how I felt then and having a good race to how I feel now. And I keep thinking, oh, maybe you're not going to have a great race because you don't feel as strong as you did then. So now everything, and then when I ran Big Bear, I felt good the whole time. So I need to get that out of my head. And there's a quote by Des Linden. I wrote it down for you. It says, don't confuse it getting hard with being not your day. Because you know how I do that? Like I'll be like, oh, this feels harder than it should. This must not be my day. So she says, don't confuse it getting hard with it not being your day. You should expect it to be hard. It's a hard event. So I was like, I like that. Just because it feels hard doesn't mean it's not your day. It should feel hard, right? And if you go and if you're hitting paces and it feels really good, like that's an anomaly. So yeah, I gotta go in with that mindset. I will run based on effort. I think this year I'm gonna go out at marathon pace if it's feeling good. Marathon pace feels good when I go out. I'm going to keep it at that. Last year, I purposely like held back a lot at the beginning, and because I was really worried about the latter part of the race. And looking back, I should have I didn't even go out at marathon pace. It's like 20 seconds. I think I went out like 8:35, 8:40 for like the first few miles. And I feel like the downhills at the beginning, I kind of need to take better advantage of that. And if I'm at marathon pace, it's okay. And just to kind of go with it. Because one thing I do know is I am a pretty good downhill runner and my quads can recover from that. So it is a strength that I have. So I need to kind of lean into it, even though everyone will say, oh, don't go out too fast. Don't go out too fast. I think what people mean by that is like, don't go out faster than marathon pace. Don't try to bank time. So I'm not trying to bank time, but if the effort feels good at my marathon pace, I'm going to let it ride. So that's something I'm going to do differently this year. So I'm just hoping that like the 8:23 feels comfortable at the beginning, and then at the end, it feels comfortably hard. So that is really everything in a nutshell. I'm proud of the cycle. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I tried a new plan. What I really liked the most out of the cycle are the connections I built with my local running community. Like, for example, right now I'm going to go to There's a group of us who are all running Boston. Now, I've been training with some of the ladies on Saturday, but there's a whole other group of people that are also going that just have different schedules and whatnot that I haven't met. So we're on a GroupMe app and or WhatsApp, and one of them is hosting a dinner at his house for all of us to come and kind of meet each other. So after this, that's where I'm going. Isn't that cool? Like we have so many run clubs in Long Beach. We have Team Runners High, which I describe it like if you're an older runner, the average age of Team Runners High is probably 50 plus. Okay. There's some people like myself in their 40s, but they're competitive AF. So I'm like, if you're an older competitive person, like join Runners High, because like I'm in my mid 40s and like I've always said, they give me a run for my money. So I like that group because it's cool to see people in that age range still be really competitive. I mean, I've told you, there's a gentleman who's 71, his 5K time is pretty comparable to mine. So, and then there's also AREC, a running experience club. I would say that club goes, some people from Runners High will run with them on Saturdays, and that's probably like 30s to 50s. And then there's the Long Beach Run Club, which skews younger. So it's really interesting. There's 3 different clubs for kind of like 3 different age groups. Regardless, though, all the clubs have people of different paces. So it was nice connecting more with the Long Beach running community. When I train for Berlin, I'm just going to I might do my own thing for Berlin. Like I kind of understand what I need to include in a plan. You got to have some speed work. You got to have some miles at marathon pace. You got to have a long run, right? Those are like the 3 kind of key ingredients. How I space those out, I'm not quite sure yet. But yeah, Berlin, I just want to do more group runs, have fun, get my runs in. Anyway, but Berlin, let's get through Boston before I start thinking about Berlin. I told you that I would share with you my fueling. So 15 minutes before the start, I will take this isn't caffeinated because I've already packed them up, a caffeinated Precision Fuel gel, 15 minutes before the start. Then at mile 4, I'm probably going to have this. This is Never Second. I really like it. It tastes really good. It's very liquidy, so you don't need water with it right away. So this will be for mile 4. Mile 8, I'm going to take a caffeinated Precision Fuel. Mile 12, I'm going to go with this liquid gel, Enervit, if I can read. I really like this too. It's like you just drink it. It's great. I'll take that. Mile 16, I'm going to have another caffeinated Precision to get me through Newton. Mile 20, I'll have one of these. Mile 23, I'm going to have another one of these. And then that'll get me to the finish. So that's my fueling strategy. I didn't show you that last week, but I'm going to show you it or I just showed it to you now. I said I would, and I did. I'm going to run in the Saucony Endorphin Elites. That's the shoe I have. I'm super just jealous and envious of all the people running in their Alpha Flies. Even though I feel like I don't really like Nike, but I'm seeing people and everyone's saying, oh my God, it's so great. It's such a good shoe. Da, da, da. And I'm like, oh, and I could have pulled the trigger on the Alpha Fly, but I have the Elite. And to be honest with you, I'm a 3:30 marathoner on a good day. Is the Alpha Fly or is any shoe going to really make a difference? I don't know. I think the carbon plate will, but I'm not, a under 3-hour marathoner. So that's why I keep telling myself to excuse or so that I don't want the Alpha Fly. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Gosh, there's so many shoes I want to try right now. I really want to try the New Balance Rebel V4. That looks like a fun shoe. The Nike Vomero 17, I think it's a 17. That kind of like, it's got the Zoom X in it, but it's a daily trainer. I'm like, want to try the Alpha Fly. So, but I can't, I'm not trying all these shoes. Anyway, that's all. Your next video from me is going to be a recap of Boston. So wish me luck. Send me good mojo. Going for a 340. I really think I'm capable of 340. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm totally capable of sub 340 marathon. I just got to stay in the zone. Oh, and I have a music strategy. I don't listen for the first half. And then right when I get to Newton, music goes on, gets me through Newton. So anyway, hope all is well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for following me along on this journey, and we'll see how it goes. I can't wait to share the results with you. Have a great weekend, and I will see you after Boston.